Statistics show that black women who marry white men have 40% less of a chance ending their marriages in divorce. It's pretty amazing, right? So let me tell you my story. So some time ago, I was dating a young lady, and the idea of the date was to eventually lead it into marriage. But it was just some things that were going on that made me suspicious. But I did my part. My part was I provided for her, but I always noticed that she never used my name. And that used to make me concerned. So I brought it up. She would always say things like, because you're my baby, you're my darling, you're my love, my dear. And I was like, well, but you never say my name. It's okay. I know who you are. Still didn't say my name. Didn't think much of it. Left it alone. Time goes on. She looks at my page on social media. I look at her pages on social media as well. And I noticed that there was this guy who always was showing interest in her, and she would make very subtle comments. So I asked her about this guy. And this is like a year into the relationship. And she always denied his existence. Oh, he's nothing. He's nobody, whatever. But I noticed that she would also make comments on his page. Then I asked her, I says, well, why aren't you married? I said, I never asked that question of you. So I asked her one day, why was she not married? She says, well, I was dating a guy. I said, what was the longest relationship you had? She told me it was for about 3 years. And she told me she was dating this guy and he wasn't really a perfect fit for her. So she moved on. But she would never talk about past relationships, which I thought was weird because she wanted to know about mine, and I would share my past relationship stories with her. But again, she never wanted to share hers with me. And it was almost like pulling teeth. So the relationship goes on and, we get a little closer, and I found out there's some needs that she had. So I furnished the house. I bought beds. I bought living room, dining room sets. I bought a computer for the house. And while she's there, she also has her 2 sisters and her brother living with her. And I would always ask her, it seems like I'm paying for everything. Are they contributing anything towards the rent? Because I'm paying the rent too. And in her community where she lives, they pay rent once a year. So I would pay the rent for 1 year, 1 whole year. And I did this for several years. However, unfortunately, in one of those years, her dad died. So I didn't pay the whole funeral expense at this particular case. The family was involved, but I did contribute to what they needed to get the rest of the money. So the family got involved, didn't have enough. So I gave them the balance of what they needed. She was able to bury her dad. Not even a complete year later, about 10 months later, her mother dies. And I paid the entire bill for the funeral. But she always act like to her friends, and we share some of the same friends. And I never called her out. But she always act like she was still doing this dentistry thing. But she had lost her job like maybe 4 months into our relationship. So from the beginning of the relationship, the 2 years, I basically took complete good care of her. And she would say things about how much money she would get, but she never earned any money. She was always given money. So eventually things just became questionable. Even with my friends, I would show them some videos that she would share with me. And they were like, she's acting. She's not real. And one of my friends comes from television music industry. So his opinion is very valuable. And it really disturbed me when he said she's acting. This is not real. Nothing could have been more correct than the statement he made, because I always wanted to know what was her age. She would never tell me her age. Well, she told me her age. She gave me a number, and I later found out that she was a lot younger than the number she had given me. And I guess lying is a part of her personal culture because she lied about a lot of things. It's so crazy because one day I sent her flowers and she says, oh, you should have sent money. What woman says this? Red flags, foolishness on my part. But I know there are other men in predicaments just the same. So I'm telling you, listen, we have intuition too. We often hear about women and female intuition, but guess what, guys? We have intuitions too. My intuitions were telling me, get out of this relationship. Throughout the course of it, I broke up with her 4 times. There were just things that just didn't feel right, but I wanted to believe in the character of the person to whom she was, but she kept failing. So finally, she told me her age. And it may seem insignificant to some people, but it really paints the picture of the road that I was traveling on. She was actually 2 years younger than the age that she had given me. And she kept saying things like, she don't know where her driver's license is. I put her through driving school. I put her through beauty school, and I was helping her with her dental stuff, which she no longer really delved into. And she got into social media. I'm paying for everything. I bought the furniture. I bought the living room set, the dining room set. I bought the solar system. I paid for the cable, the TV, the electricity, the water, the gas, everything, the car, transportation, clothes, not just for her, but for her brother and her two sisters. So I'm not making this video out of spite or revenge. I didn't even use any names. I'm making this video because I know there are men in the same type of predicament. And here's the point that I want to make. Don't let what someone else did that you did not like cause you to start judging other women and thinking all women are gold diggers. So eventually I broke up with her. I got the courage to start answering her calls, because as soon as she started talking to me, I would just fall back deep with her because I really did care for her. I really did love her, but she didn't love me. It was so evident. She was just a taker, a taker, a taker. She was not a giver. She did send me a picture once. So she did do that. That was very nice. And I still had to pay for it to get to my address. So it was like $80. So I was told, allegedly. So like I said, I broke up with her. I found the courage. I did it. Didn't answer the phone. Didn't do any video chats. Didn't do any social media conversations. I just shut her down completely. She's constantly calling me and leaving me messages. She's asking, oh, I'm about to do this. I'm on a special project. I need some money. She's telling me she needs this money. She's in need. She needs help. She needs this. I don't send her anything. I think one time I sent her a little bit of money, not anything significant, but I just sent it to her. It was the last payment that I had given her. Payment, yes, because this felt like support. But I had given her this last amount of money. Not even a complete 30 days later. Remember that guy that I talked about earlier? He actually shows up where she's at, and she puts it all over social media, him and her. What this man may not know is that not like 25 days or something like that before he showed up, she's begging me to take her back in a relationship. She's begging me. So obviously she had been in a relationship with me and this other gentleman for a period of time, because he comes there to where she's at and he proposes to her. He proposes. She accepts his proposal. And she's such a mechanical person that now, looking on the outside, like my friends did with me, I can see that this was just a bunch of fakery. But I do hope that the statistic works out. The statistic is that when black women, which she is, marry white men, which she did, that their marriages will last much longer than normal marriages. What's the lesson learned? First of all, never do vengeance. Never call out people with their name. It's not necessary. There are others who can put the pieces together and know the true story. But this is the true story. But it's the alienation saying that, silly things like, oh, I'm making all this money. You ain't making no money. You're spending my money. So her relationship is built on lies. She's lied to her husband. She lied to him when he was her fiance, led him to believe. And I guarantee this man is in a situation that I was in, taking care of her entire family, because they don't have any money. Yeah, the brother works. The older sister works. They don't have any money. The younger sister's still in school. They don't have any money. He's probably in a position where he's actually doing that. And that's just not fair. That's a horrible situation to be in, especially when the love's not real. She didn't bring anything to the table. Nothing to the table. And usually women bring a lot to the table with emotional support, great conversations, realisms, planning for the future, problem solving. Women bring a lot of things to the table that men need. She didn't do any of that. So what I'm saying to you guys, the moral of the story is pay attention to who you're dating, young or old. Pay attention. If you're not feeling it here, get out. I had to get out. I kept wanting to believe something that just didn't exist. The person that I thought I was in love with just did not exist. I had painted this picture. Don't do that. Let people be who they are. You meet them there. And that was the biggest mistake that I made. So that's the lesson that we want to share with you today. And fellas, listen, let's talk more about this in the comments, because this is going to be interesting. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So we'll see you in the next video. Remember this.